Hello. In this video I'm going to demonstrate how to upgrade a Streamlight Stinger incandescent flashlight with the Streamlight Stinger LED module. That part number is 94005 and it was made just for this purpose, to modify a incandescent Stinger to LED. You're going to need a couple of tools. One is I'm going to use this spanner wrench. You could use a pair of needle nose pliers if you like. And then also you're going to need some sort of push rod, something that's the diameter of the battery or a little less, because you're going to use that to push the switch module out of the top of the flashlight. Okay, so I've already unboxed the kit. You get the LED module, which includes the switch and the springs. You get a new LED or a new bezel assembly, which is good. Probably yours is all scratched up. And then a couple screws, a couple of those charging screws, a new rubber boot, and then a little triangle piece that helps set the flashlight in the charging cradle. So what we're going to do now is take the flashlight apart. We'll go ahead and take the battery out. So take the tail cap off, take the battery out, put that aside. We're going to take off the top bezel. And we won't need that, so we can put that off to the side for now too. And then also the incandescent bulb. We aren't going to need that any longer. All right, so next thing, we're going to go ahead and take the screws out of the back. This will release the switch. And remember, these screws are also used for charging the flashlight, so you know, they need to be set properly when you put the new ones in. It's important that the Phillips screwdriver that you choose really fits into the screws well. Not so much to take it apart, but when you go ahead and put the new screws in, it needs a little bit of force, and it's easy to strip out the screws if you don't have a good fitting Phillips head for it. So I'll go ahead, we'll get rid of those parts. So now we're kind of ready to take out that switch module. Only trick here is that there are actually some little tabs here that hold this module in to the flashlight body. There's some grooves around the inside tubing of the flashlight that this fits into. We need to use the spanner tool to pull those back. And but while we're doing that, you kind of need three hands to do this. Since I only have two, that's what I want to use the push stick for. So in this case, I have an old mag flashlight that I'm going to use. I'm going to go ahead and slide the flashlight over that push stick. And while I'm using the spanner wrench to spread out, to pull in those tabs, I'm going to push on the switch from the back side to kind of force it out. So I think it's coming out now. Sometimes what makes it bind is the switch now. So I got to go ahead and push that switch in. That's what's stopping it. And then again, while I'm pushing the switch, and then even using that spanner wrench to spread those ears apart, we'll get this thing out of here. What's binding it up again here is the switch, so we just need to push that in a little better. Go. This is really the hardest part of the whole thing, is getting this old switch module out. All right, now that we got that, we're ready to go ahead and install the new switch module. And we'll need to first put on the switch at boot. And watch how it came off this, the old module. That's probably the only little bit of a tricky part here. We need to put this switch boot back in the proper way. So in this case, the way it looks is if the larger part of this switch cover goes in the top of the switch module here. Fold that under. So looks like that's pretty good. Now what we're going to do is we're going to slide this together back in. The rubber's going to kind of slow it down in terms of getting it past everything, but it should slide together very easily like this. We want to make sure that you know, the switch is properly seated. These screws should be in the center of these holes, because that's what's going to have to go back together there. So if that's all lined up, everything's pushed in properly, we go ahead and put the triangular piece back on. We'll use the new one here. I was using the old one. Just like that. We're going to go ahead and put in the 2 new screws. Remember, these are also used for charging, so want to make sure that they go in properly, get seated well. And that's where having a good Phillips screwdriver that fits them is important. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Those look seated well. Switch is there. We can go ahead and put the new bezel on if we like. You might want to, I'm not going to do it here at Brandy, but if you have any silicone grease, you could put that on the rubber ring here so that it just screws together a little better, a little easier. And then go ahead, we'll put the battery in. And the bottom cover. And hopefully we'll get a working flashlight, and we do. That's the Streamlight Stinger with the new module in it.